just because the courts didn't like.
This morning, the murder trial against Bryan Kohberger moving full speed ahead after a judge in Idaho refused to dismiss the whole case.
I appreciate the argument. I think it's really creative. I am going to deny that argument.
Prosecutors and defense lawyers battling in court for hours Thursday. The judge opting to keep cameras in the courtroom over Kohberger's objection. He's been charged with the stabbing death of 4 University of Idaho students, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves, in this off-campus home. His defense team arguing the prosecution wrongly instructed the grand jury to indict using a standard of proof lower than required.
There's clearly prejudice in the record that the court can see from what they were being instructed.
The judge finding no support for that claim, saying his hands are tied.
I am constrained by existing law. I can't just change the law.
Much of the legal wrangling in the case has been shrouded in secrecy. Hours of arguments earlier Thursday held behind closed doors.
The grand jury is secret, so that's why it's sealed.
Kohberger's defense team urging the judge to dismiss the case on other grounds as well, suggesting in court papers the grand jury was biased. There was insufficient evidence to charge him, and prosecutors withheld other evidence that could exonerate him. What exactly that evidence might be remains unknown. A judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf in May. The state has said it is seeking the death penalty.
All rise.
Meantime, the families of the victims are anxious for a trial date, as next month marks 1 year since the grisly killings rattled this tight-knit community.
They were amazing, amazing kids in the prime of their life.
The mother of Ethan Chapin appearing at a true crime convention in September with a simple message.
Don't forget these kids.
It's interesting. There were a lot of issues dealt with yesterday, but let's just, I mean, clearly the defense is throwing everything it can to kind of throw out this indictment, but the trial is headed full speed ahead from yesterday.
Sure, and I think this was sort of a Hail Mary motion that they put in about the jury instructions saying that they used the wrong standard of proof, just so people at home understand it's never been the case that probable cause shouldn't be used in front of the grand jury. It's always been a lower standard in front of the grand jury, and for a trial, we all know it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Everyone's heard that a million times, but for a grand jury, it's lower. All you have to find is that it's more likely than not he committed the crime.
So it sounds like the defense is just trying to slow down this whole process. So where are we on
it's been working,
well,
right?
where are we on a trial date? When's that going to be set?
So I think now that they've sort of cleared the decks, they've gotten rid of a lot of these motions the judge did yesterday, I think now we're going to see that trial date pretty soon, because it's been a year. And look, murder cases take a while. There's a lot of discovery both sides have to trade, especially a case like this, a lot of forensics. But it's been a year. I think the judge is going to set it pretty soon.
It did also seem like yesterday we got a sense of where the judge stands when it comes to cameras in the courtroom.
Yeah.
What do you think we might see during the trial with cameras?
Well, Kohberger's team had made a big push to keep the cameras out. They said it's too prejudicial, and the state actually agreed and said, you know what, we too actually would be fine with no cameras, because remember, they're worried about what would happen on appeal. If down the line an appellate court said, we think that was the wrong call, cameras shouldn't have been there, the whole case could get thrown out. So the state doesn't want that to happen. But the judge, interestingly, said, look, I'm going to keep the cameras for now. I'm going to exert a little bit more control. What that looks like, we don't know yet. He didn't spell it all out. But I think for now, we could hopefully expect to see cameras in there. And the families have been the ones pushing for it for transparency.
That's what's so interesting. You have both parties. The prosecution and the defense don't want the cameras, but the families do. So here the judge is trying to walk that line. The judges do. All right, Laura, thank you.
Laura.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.